Well, y'all, while you were having a good Saturday, watching potentially some football games, doing those last bits of the summer, getting into the fall, the Forces of Darkness and Antifa and all the gangs in Chicago were ramming federal agents in coordinated attack with 10 vehicles, which then shots were fired in order to defense while the Chicago Police Department was allegedly ordered to stand down. Guys, wow. Everything I'm going to show you right now is going to be linked in the description box below. This is absolute insanity, but what can you expect when you're dealing with someone who is actively losing like the left is? Everything's going to be linked. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. As you guys get in here, let me see you in the chat, audio, video, 5x5. Make sure we are good to go, and we will dive right into this. This is right off the presses. Looks like we are good to go. The emojis are flying. The chats are flying. Get that energy up because we have got to talk about the high level of crazy of the wounded animal that is the left losing power, and they are thrashing about like a fish on a hook and line. All right, let's get into this. You can follow me on X at BradenLOA if you'd like. I am not going to bury the lead. Let's jump right in here. Make sure you get those chats, subscribe, like, share. Let's go. All right. This is something that I've been watching through today. I didn't get to do a video earlier this morning when I wanted to, but now I've got all the more data to show you guys because this is bananas. Just in from Timcast News, Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin says law enforcement officers were ambushed this morning in Broadview, Chicago. 10 cars boxed them in and rammed their vehicles. 10 cars. Count them. 10. Okay, so that would mean coordination. If we're dealing with coordination at this point, that is a different level. That is a different level of escalation. Let's keep going. It gets even better. And by better, of course, I mean worse. An armed driver, previously flagged in a CBP intel bulletin for doxing agents and calling for violence, was shot after officers returned fire. No officers were seriously hurt. Good. The Chicago Police Department, under Governor Pritzker, has refused to secure the scene. Now, this was earlier reporting, and I wanted to let this percolate for a minute, but now I've got even more. And I'm going to say a little something to you guys who are just now getting in here. Make sure you're sending this out and sharing this out while we do this little word to each of you. Head on a swivel, please. You guys, we are entering a position now where the left is so badly losing in the eye of public perception, they have resorted to violence over and over and over again to complete and total unrest of what we're covering right now. They are losing public perception, and they're going to start lashing out. I told you they were going to do it a week ago. They're going to continue to do it because they are actively losing the one thing they care about the most, and that is power. Because the public has awoken to the crap that they are issuing out and dealing out. And honestly, it's all just an eye roll at this point. The Democrats have been playing this little cute game of their peaceful protests for about 5 to 6 years now. And honest to God, let me hear you in the chat if you are too, but I think that the public is kind of sick of this crap. There's nothing peaceful about this. If you have to buckle up with your mask, your like ventilator mask, you have to wear your little resistant scarves for Gaza conflict. If you got to wear backpacks and you're all ironclad in black and Antifa outfits with umbrellas and backpacks, we're all sick of it. That's really what you're dealing with. But let's continue. I digress. Let me hear you in the comments if you agree with that sentiment. And if you're just now getting in here, we are actively showing you what's happening in Chicago. Let's keep going. All right, so here's some more details. I only bring you the best, and it's all linked in the description box for your review. Breaking: federal law enforcement ambushed near Chicago. During a morning patrol in Broadview, near Chicago, multiple vehicles rammed federal law enforcement cars, boxing officers in before an armed suspect opened fire. Okay, guys, at a certain point, you have to recognize what's happening in the evolution of this resistance that they're calling it, okay? If you've got multiple people, one being ring-led by somebody who said, let's dox these people, let's call for violence, and then you've got 10 separate vehicles boxing in federal agents, opening fire on those agents inside the vehicle of which they have coordinated and boxed in, and then that individual is getting shot in Chicago, a gun control city, it gets a little awkward. That's coordination. That's exactly what that is. But let's keep going. Agents return fire. Good. Wounding the suspect. Get better. A U.S. citizen previously flagged in a CBP intelligence bulletin for threatening agents online, who later drove herself to the hospital. No officers were seriously injured, but officials described the situation as evolving, with special operations deployed to secure the area as local police reportedly refused to assist. And this is coming from the source, the Department of Homeland Security. This is not coming from somebody who just tweeted something out. This is official releases. Okay? You've got the police in Chicago standing down. I'm going to show you what's being alleged. I got all of it right now. It's all linked. If you guys are just now getting in here, send this out and head on a swivel. Please be safe out there. All right, let me show you the actual documentation of which the department secretary sent out. This is the actual documentation. This morning, during routine patrolling in Broadview, in the same area of Chicago that law enforcement were assaulted yesterday, our brave law enforcement officers were rammed by vehicles and boxed in by 10 cars. Again, that is coordination. Agents were unable to move their vehicles and exited the car. One of the drivers who rammed the law enforcement vehicle was armed with a semi-automatic weapon. Law enforcement was forced to deploy their weapons and fire defensive shots at an armed U.S. citizen who drove herself to the hospital to get care for wounds. The armed woman was named in a CBP intelligence report, that is Customs and Border Patrol, intelligence bulletin last week for doxing agents and posting online, quote, "Hey to all my gang, let's F those mother effers up. Don't let them take anyone." Thankfully, no law enforcement officers were seriously injured in this attack. Pritzker's Chicago Police Department is leaving the shooting scene and refuses to assist us in securing the area. There is a growing crowd, and we are deploying special operations to control the scene. This is an evolving situation, and we'll give more information as soon as it becomes available. Okay, we're going to pause on that for a second, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. Come here. If this was the other way around, and say there was a far-right group that did this to, I don't know, anybody affiliated with the left, how fast do you think that would be national news? It would interrupt every single football game, every single thing. It would be running on the rolls the whole time, nonstop. But for some reason, I'm willing to bet you guys haven't heard a whole lot about this. I'm about to show you the first CNN article that was published 11 minutes ago from this live. Right now, it is 7:19 p.m. Central. So this happened earlier today at 11. How quickly do you think that would be? And how quickly would the calls for gun control come from the leftist politicians from inside Chicago citing the fact that gun control was there, even though it was there, it doesn't matter. We need more of it. How long? Yeah, the answer is about 10 seconds. Okay, Super Chat over here from Fred Samuel, $5. We the people need to assemble against these idiots and help ICE. Fred, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not think that the time is right for that. It's not that I don't think you have the willingness or the bravery or the courage. I think that will inflame the situation further, and they're already on their back foot, honestly. But that's a good Super Chat. Now, let's get back to this. I've got to show you what CNN and the other reports are. Now, this right here, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell if you're just now getting in here. ICE under assault, 10 coordinated vehicles, and shots fired. Okay, this, I've got to put a very big disclaimer on. I cannot vouch for this account. I'm only going to show you what they are saying, and then I'll show you the CNN article, which is sourced. All right, this is reportedly the actual internal reporting that says that the police were told to stand down. Again, I want to re-emphasize this. This is just, at this point, this is unconfirmed. This is only what is being popped up in a very large account that I saw related to this. Okay, now that I've said that. Chief of Patrol, no units will respond to this as related from 4 October 2024, so there's the date. Caller is one of approximately 30 armed Border Patrol agents, ICE, who are being surrounded by a large crowd of people requesting CPD. So, you've got 30 armed ICE agents requesting Chicago Police Department. They're being declined, and it's coming from the chief of patrol in Chicago? This is the gun control city. This is the one where there's no gun control. I mean, there's all gun control. There's no gun violence because it is violence, but it's not violence. But don't worry, there's laws there. And they're standing down because of Pritzker's orders? Yeah, this looks really great for Democrats. All right, again, that's unconfirmed. I cannot vouch for that, but I'm going to go to the next one, which is just as important. And this is CNN. Again, I want to show you this time frame right here. You see that top left where it says updated 13 minutes ago? Well, I mean, good God. 13 whole minutes ago? Wow, calm down, guys. All right, it's a 5-minute read. Buckle up. Let's get into this. Department of Homeland Security says officers in Chicago fired at driver who, quote, rammed the law enforcement vehicle. Well, that's not exactly what we've been discussing. It's close, but it's not quite it. There's a little bit of a difference between rammed a vehicle and surrounded it with 10 cars and then opened fire. But, you know, what? Guys, I mean, like, don't let details get in the way. All right, let's keep on going. This is absolutely insane. Officers fired defensive shots at an armed American woman after she, along with the drivers of at least 10 other vehicles, rammed and boxed in officers, Tricia McLaughlin, Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary, said in a post on X. I just showed you the post for veracity of this video. Agents were unable to move their vehicles and exited the car. One of the drivers who rammed the law enforcement vehicle was armed with a semi-automatic weapon, which is ironic because, again, Chicago. McLaughlin said in her post, quote, law enforcement was forced to deploy their weapons and fire defensive shots at an armed U.S. citizen who drove herself to the hospital to get care for wounds. The armed woman was recently named in an intelligence bulletin last week for doxing agents and posting online, McLaughlin said. The woman has not been named and her condition was unclear Saturday. McLaughlin did not provide details on which agencies the officers who opened fire are a part of. Now, this is important. Just going to throw it out there. This report that is, again, this is unverified. I'm just telling you what's floating around there. It says here that it's ICE agents. Again, that's all it says. Let's just keep on going. It would make sense if the woman said, don't let them take anyone, and the CPD report leak is saying ICE agents. I mean, it does make sense, but the point is feds in general. But let's keep on going, because, guys, this is really important stuff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. We are driving for this country, and we are just going to continue all day, every day. Let's keep going. All right. No officers were seriously hurt in the incident, and I like that a whole lot, said McLaughlin, who also accused local police in Chicago of leaving the scene. Again, that is confirming all the things that I'm showing you here. That all the things that are reporting, they're all checking out. Quote, Pritzker's Chicago Police Department is leaving the shooting scene and refuses to assist us in securing the area, McLaughlin said. There is a growing crowd, and we are deploying special operations to control the scene. Again, that confirms with her actual statement, that confirms CNN's article reporting, and that confirms this source right here. We're getting a whole lot of confirmation of some not great stuff. That's where we're effectively at this moment. All right, I don't know if I had any more highlighted down here. No, I did not, because this was all a bunch of week of protest. Yeah, okay. So, here's the thing, guys. And all this is linked in the description box. I always bring receipts, and by all means, I want you guys to check all my work. That's why I post it up there, so in case you can also share it out. But here's the thing. The bottom line is, the team that's winning doesn't do this kind of crap. It really is that simple. You are winning. We are taking the country back. Slowly, step by step by step. Sometimes we skip a few steps and we just jump right to the end. Went to go and collected $200. But the bottom line here is we are actively winning to take back our country and get it to the next generation better than we found it. What you're seeing here, and you're going to continue to see here, and I got lots of videos coming up that are all points, all supplementing this point. You are actively winning because the time that an opponent is the most dangerous, just like a wounded animal, is when it's hurting, when it's trapped, or when it's cornered. And what you're seeing right now is the left losing the very thing that they hold the most dear, which is the power on the culture. They are actively losing it. You are on the tipping point. You are actively witnessing the tipping point of when the far left goes the way of the dodo bird, the same way it did in the 1960s with the hippies when they all went very violent with things like the Weather Underground. That is the natural evolution of these things. Stay the course, head on a swivel, be armed, be protected, be trained, and overall avoid any and all conflict if you can, because we are weathering this storm, and it is going to be one hell of an amazing time on the other side. We just got to get through this last little band of the hurricane. All right, listen, that's my Florida reference. I love each and every one of you. Just throw it out that makes you feel comfortable. Please spread this out, send this out, spread the message. See you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.